Hi, I'm Eva Carter. Today, we're diving into a story where a single piece of jewelry weighed more than a crown, and how the most expensive gift in the world became a death sentence for the Queen of France. In ancient times, there was a custom in the East of gifting a white elephant to someone who had fallen out of favor. Because the animal was sacred, it couldn't be worked or sold. Keeping it was so expensive that it eventually bankrupted the owner. In the history of the French court, a legendary diamond necklace became just such a white elephant. In 1772, King Louis XV decided to surprise his mistress, Madame du Barry, by ordering the most incredible piece of jewelry ever made from the jewelers Baumer and Bassenge. It was the project of the century, 647 large diamonds weighing over 560 grams in total. The piece was valued at 2 million livres, which would be about $14 million today. However, the work took years to complete. By the time it was finished, the old king had passed away, and his mistress had been exiled from the court. The jewelers, who had invested their entire fortune into the necklace, were on the brink of ruin. Their only hope was the new queen, Marie Antoinette. But their plan failed. She refused the necklace 3 times, stating that the country needed warships more than jewels. She likely looked down on the idea of wearing something intended for a woman of low social standing. In desperation, the jewelers even tried to sell it to the Turkish Sultan, but the deal fell through. Just as they were about to declare bankruptcy, a mysterious woman appeared, promising to save them. Friends, before we get into the most daring scam of the 18th century, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps me find the best historical mysteries for you. That woman was Jeanne de la Motte Valois, a lady whose life story reads like a thriller. She was born in 1758 in a tiny village in the north of France. Although royal blood technically ran through her veins, she was a descendant of an illegitimate son of King Henry II. Jeanne grew up in crushing poverty. As a child, she tended cattle and begged on the streets until her lineage was officially confirmed. This gave her the right to an education and a small pension, but her ambitions were much larger. After marrying Nicolas de la Motte, she and her husband began a rapid climb up the social ladder. With nothing to their names but a grand title, the couple began calling themselves Count and Countess. Jeanne went to Versailles, hoping to meet Marie Antoinette and win her favor. However, the queen considered her a suspicious social climber and refused to see her. This taught Jeanne a valuable lesson. She realized it was much easier to manipulate the weaknesses of men. To pull off her schemes, she formed a circle of loyal accomplices. Her husband became her partner in crime, and a close friend, Armand Rateau de Villette, possessed a rare talent for forging handwriting and documents. Jeanne only lacked one thing: a man with deep pockets and a bruised ego to act as her financial foundation. She soon found the perfect target: a powerful church official whose desperate desire for royal favor made him the perfect puppet. That target was Prince de Rohan, known at court as the Handsome Eminence. Coming from one of the most noble families in France, he held high positions in the church and had served as the ambassador to Austria. However, his love for the high life and his habit of spreading gossip about Marie Antoinette had backfired. When he returned to Paris, he found the queen despised him. The cardinal was desperate to regain his influence. Jeanne masterfully exploited this weakness. She convinced Rohan that she was a close friend and even a cousin of the queen. According to Jean, Marie Antoinette actually wanted to reconcile, but insisted on keeping it a secret. Soon, Jean began delivering letters to the cardinal, supposedly written by the queen herself. In reality, they were forged by her accomplice, Villette, who perfectly mimicked the royal handwriting. In these letters, the queen's tone became increasingly tender and personal. Rohan, blinded by hope and vanity, truly believed a secret romance was blossoming. He failed to see the absurdity of the situation because he so badly wanted to believe his career was saved. But to fully control the cardinal, letters weren't enough. Rohan wanted to see his royal patron face to face, so Jean staged an incredible theatrical performance under the cover of night in the royal gardens. For this bold production, Jean recruited Nicole Leguay, a young woman who bore a striking resemblance to the queen. At 10 o'clock at night, in a secluded grove in the gardens of Versailles, the cardinal finally saw the woman of his dreams. In the darkness, a lady appeared in a delicate white dress and a wide-brimmed hat. A short, whispered conversation and a gifted rose were enough to push Rohan over the edge. He was absolutely certain. The Queen of France had given him her heart. From that moment on, Jean began to reap the rewards of her deception. She regularly told the cardinal that the queen needed urgent funds for charitable works that couldn't be officially recorded. Blinded by his feelings, Rohan handed over huge sums of money without hesitation. This cash allowed Jean to live a life of luxury in Paris, creating the illusion of high status. To the public, she truly appeared to be an influential figure close to the throne. It was then that the nearly bankrupt jewelers approached her, begging her to convince the queen to buy the necklace that had sat unsold for years. Jean saw her chance to steal the most expensive piece of jewelry in history, and she knew exactly how to make it happen. In January 1785, Jean de la Motte told Cardinal Rohan that the queen was finally ready to buy the necklace, but wanted to do it secretly through a trusted intermediary. Rohan, honored by the request, negotiated a deal with the jewelers for a payment plan: 1,600,000 livres, split into 4 payments over 2 years. Once he received the velvet box, the cardinal personally delivered it to Jean's house. There, before his very eyes, the jewels were handed over to a man in royal livery, supposedly a messenger from the palace. In reality, it was Jean's husband, Nicolas, in disguise. Instead of going to the Queen's chambers, the necklace was immediately whisked away to London. Such a famous piece was too recognizable to sell whole, so the thieves took drastic measures. They literally tore the necklace apart, prying every diamond from its setting. They even had some stones recut to hide their origin. The diamonds were sold off piece by piece on the black market, bringing the scammers a fortune. For the next 6 months, the conspirators lived in absolute luxury, convinced their plan was perfect. However, diamonds of that caliber always leave a trail, and jewelers' bills cannot go unpaid forever. When the deadline for the next payment arrived, the fragile house of cards built on lies and forged promises began to collapse. In August, the moment of truth arrived. The jewelers, having received no payment, went directly to Marie Antoinette. The queen was furious. This was the first she had heard of a secret purchase of the necklace she had rejected 3 times. Instead of handling the matter quietly, the king and queen made a fatal mistake by making the conflict public. Cardinal Rohan was arrested in the most public way possible, right in the Louvre, in front of hundreds of shocked courtiers. Soon after, Jean, her accomplice Villette, and the girl from the garden were all taken into custody. The resulting trial became a massive political spectacle. Rohan presented the forged love letters to the court, genuinely believing they were real. However, it was obvious to everyone that the signature Marie Antoinette of France was a fake. Royals never added the name of the country to their signatures. But the public was already whipped into a frenzy. Paris was flooded with nasty pamphlets and posters. People chose to believe the Queen had organized the scam herself to ruin the cardinal, only to discard her accomplices once she was caught. Although the court officially cleared Rohan of charges, the reputation of the monarchy was destroyed. This scandal was the spark that helped light the fire of the French Revolution. Public opinion had already passed its verdict long before the judges did. The Queen was cleared by the law, but forever condemned by the people, who saw her as a symbol of waste and hypocrisy. Jeanne de la Motte, despite her fierce protests, was sentenced to life in prison. She was publicly whipped and branded with the letter V for thief. A year later, she made a daring escape to London, where she reunited with her husband. Villette was exiled to Italy, where he died in total poverty after failing to make money from his memoirs. Cardinal Rohan, though cleared of criminal charges, lost all his influence and was exiled to his estates. The greatest mystery, the fate of the diamonds themselves, remains unsolved. It is believed the stones vanished, sold secretly across the black markets of Europe. None of the conspirators found true wealth. Jeanne died in London while hiding from creditors, and her husband eventually returned to France with nothing. The massive necklace simply ceased to exist, broken into small fragments. The highest price, however, was paid by Marie Antoinette. The necklace scandal paved the way to the guillotine, which she faced in 1793. Even in her final hour, she maintained her dignity. After accidentally stepping on the executioner's foot, she spoke her final words. "Forgive me, sir. I did not mean to do it." To the very end, she remained a lady, even though her name was forever tied to this infamous scam. In the end, the white elephant, that useless, ruinous gift, cost its owner everything. That's all for today. I hope this story made you look at the glitter of jewels a little differently. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. We talk about real history without the filters here. And don't go too far. 2 other videos have just appeared on your screen, and they're just as fascinating as the story of Jeanne de la Motte. Pick one, and I'll see you there. This was Ava Carter. Bye for now.